And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Russell Pierce. I was going to say the Russell Pierce podcast, but this is actually the Russell Pierce All-In Preview and Prediction Show, the official All-In Preview and Prediction Show. I'm your host, Ibu of Russell Pierce, better known to many of you guys as Backup Hangman, and I'm joined as usual with the boss man, Monty, and we're here to talk about some AEW All-In. We'll be here for the next hour to 90 minutes or so because the big show, the big one is this Saturday in London in Wembley Stadium, Monty. It is the follow-up to the long-awaited All-In Wembley last year. We're locked and loaded. The card is set. Dynamite is in the books. And we have a good idea of everything on the show. So we're going to talk about All-In as well as some of the news and rumors surrounding the show. So if you guys are ready for this one, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and send us super chats because we're going to be hanging out with you guys and reading your comments and your questions, as well as previewing the show and getting you guys ready and locked and loaded for AEW All-In. Monty, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Big week, as you already said. AEW's biggest show of the year, AEW Wembley Stadium. They've just passed 50,000 tickets as well. It's looking big, brother. It's looking big, brother. Some big news has just dropped, and we'll get into that. And like you already said, man, the rumors and all the potential happenings and stuff that could be happening at Wembley this Sunday. So, not as long as our normal podcast, I don't think. We're not going to go 2-3 hours or anything like that today. Here for a good time, not a long time. So get the super chats in if you got any questions, predictions. Whilst we've got Ibu in this rare time slot, you know. But yeah, I'm good, Ibu. How you doing, brother?
Very tired, extremely tired. I was having an amazing nap, and then my alarm hit because it was time to do this. But I do love the game, and I love Russell Pierce, and I'm ready to do this. So you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And I'm here to do this preview. And I appreciate everybody that's joined us again. If you're just filing in right now, this is the All-In Preview and Prediction Show. Please like the video if you haven't liked the video. It helps us with our visibility. It helps us with the channel growth and all that. So please like the video. And we'll talk about all that stuff, including, guys, if you're just walking in and you just missed it, if you have been living under a rock for the last 5 minutes.
Spoiler alert,
Spoiler. Well, I won't get into the spoiler yet, but just the literal reality is Ricochet has signed a multi-year deal with All Elite Wrestling. This comes as no surprise to anybody because he had been expected to depart WWE to go to AEW, dating all the way back to June, Monty. This news came out back in June that Ricochet was leaving WWE.
It's been a hot minute, man.
It's been over 2 months now of people expecting him to leave WWE and go to AEW. And Fightful Select confirmed that has officially been made official, that it's the case that he's signed with AEW. How does that lead into All-In? We will get into that shortly. And I may or may not have a little bit of news tidbits for you guys. I don't want to spoil anything for people, but I do have some news tidbits for everybody regarding Ricochet and maybe some other things on All-In. So strap in for that. And again, like, comment, subscribe, super chats. Do we have any right now, Monty, to get into before we get right into this card?
What you said, news?
No, super chat.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, this is an interesting standard chat. Abdul, I have 2 spare tickets for All-In, completely free. Just want fellow wrestling fans to experience. My friends backed out long.
Well, Abdul, DM me. Just DM
me. Get on you, boo.
Yeah,
you could actually. It's a good point. DM me, brother. We'll find a good home for them tickets.
Right.
Anyway, all right, super chats. Anjan, PN $2. Appreciate you as always. Dragon is reincarnated. He was stargazing. #raw.
He was great yesterday. He was the dragon that we've been asking for. He's been very nonchalant and passive in the last few weeks going into this match. He was very much like, if I retire, it's fine. And yesterday he was like, I'm the American fucking dragon, no Brian fucking Danielson, and and all that stuff. And he did the yes chant and everything. So he's ready to go. He finally hit the right note right before Wembley Stadium, which is appreciated. And we're all ready to go to see how he does against Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, man, fired up, brother. I did nail it last night. Karthik, 100 rupees. You guys are positive on Punk versus Drew at SummerSlam. Would you predict they snatch feud of the year after the trilogy? Cody versus Rock Reigns is a hard number 1 seed to beat.
Matches 2 and 3 have to be good.
Yeah,
It's that simple. Match 2 and 3 have to be good, and if they are, then they're the comfortable feud of the year, I think.
yeah. It's like with match 1, as you said, like me and Ibby were pretty positive on the match,
Yeah.
to be fair. But it's not a thing where it comes to the end of the year, we're not going to be like Punk and Drew was feud of the year because of that match at SummerSlam. Like,
Yeah, it would be
no
because
way.
of some of the great angles leading to it.
Mhm.
So, and at this point, to keep the momentum up, the wrestling has to deliver.
And another 40 rupees. Appreciate you again. Any word on Roman taking Hell in a Cell from Punk at Bad Blood? It's a deep cut, that one.
Roman Reigns, in his mind, wanted to work Jacob in a cell, and they're gonna have to work out. WWE will have to work out how we feed all the mouths. I asked WWE, and Punk and Drew is still expected to be the Bad Blood Hell in a Cell. So how that affects Roman Reigns and what he's doing is yet to be seen. We'll see. I do know that Roman Reigns wants to get Jacob Fatu over big. We're already starting to see that with how Roman decided to sell for him, which is not something to be taken lightly. It's something he doesn't do. He does sparingly. There are people within WWE that want to hold off on Jacob and Roman and make it an even bigger thing because they see really big things in Jacob Fatu. So where they decide to have the match and what they decide to do with it is yet to be seen. Punk and Drew are still going to have their Hell in a Cell match as of right now.
Slim Reaper 35 499. Appreciate it as always. Any information on Moxley and also his relationship with AEW? Should fans be concerned whatsoever about his future?
Very quiet on that front. I asked AEW about Jon Moxley and what's going on with him, and they don't really have much to tell me.
They don't talk, man.
They don't really talk. As if a few weeks ago, as of a few weeks ago, Jon Moxley was scheduled to be in the fold by the fall. He was expected to be in the fold. Is that when we see him again? Does he come back earlier? I don't know. For all we know, he shows up at All In or All Out. But he was if nothing else, he was expected to be in the fold by the fall. What's his relationship with AEW? I mean, I can tell you that a lot of the side detours that he's been doing this year, whether it be Bloodsport in Japan or Mexico and stuff, it's come because he asked to do it. He wanted to do it. And they granted him that and they allowed him that. And he's very appreciative that AEW affords him the opportunity to go and do these things that he wants, which is his current situation. So he was doing what he wanted to do in the springtime and the early part of the year. It's not super clear why he's not around right now. And beyond that, all I can tell you is that he's expected to be in the fold in the fall.
Matt Hennessy, €2.49. Appreciate you. As always, brother. Heading to All In, very excited.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely exciting weekend. We got a lot of Wrestle Purist representation going to that show as well. So I'm still undecided. I don't know. Maybe this prediction show will win me over, you know. Slim Reaper again, $4.99. Appreciate it. Last night we saw glimpses of prime heel MJF after Wembley. Do you know / think he'll drop the MAGA gimmick and lean back into his traditional heel work?
The American parts of it, I think so. I think Will's going to beat him for the International Championship and rechristen it the International Championship. And with that belt out of MJF's hands and with this feud no longer being the main thing to build, I think Max will just simply be heel Max. So, yeah, I actually do think that will be the case. I also thought he was a better half of yesterday's segment.
Yeah, there was I mean, we'll get into it later on the review, but there was elements all over the place on that one. I thought there was things I hated, there was things I really liked. It was hot, you know. It was
tried a lot of things. The crowd was very into it, and ultimately it ended with a good pull apart. So
yeah. But as for the MAGA gimmick, I'm very confident in saying that I think he gets dropped after Wembley and he does what you're suggesting in the super chat. Karan, 100 rupees. I can't believe people chose that friendly cowboy choke artist over the GOAT American Dragon. My Hangman fandom has melted away through all this.
I enjoy Kurt Hangman a lot. My God, that segment yesterday where Evil Uno was like, "I'm going to be in the Gauntlet," and Hangman Page just hit him.
You could see it coming a mile away as well. Like the first thing Hangman says is like, "I'll go through anyone. I don't care who they are." And Evil Uno appears. You know?
Yeah, it was a good gag. I don't know why, because I don't give a shit about the Dark Order, but I kind of felt bad for Evil Uno. I was like, damn, that's kind of
come on, bro.
That's kind of mean. That's kind of fucked up.
Bam, $2. Not flinching. Hashtag we want Hangman, Monty, and backup. Goat emoji. Appreciate
Well,
you.
I'll break some news for you guys.
Oh,
because I don't think AEW's made this particularly clear. So yeah, man, listen, if you're tuned into this Wrestle Pierce All-In preview, you don't just get a preview prediction. You might get some pieces of news along the way, so stick around because there's going to be some news throughout. The first bit of little news here, again, I'm not sure if AEW made this clear, but the winner of the Casino Gauntlet not only gets a title shot, they get it anytime they want, meaning it can be cashed in like money in the bank. You can cash in this championship opportunity. So I say all that to say, there is a chance. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but there is a chance Hangman Page wins this match, and in the main event, he pulls off the heist of the century. Is that what they choose to do? I don't know. But it is something that's in play because AEW plans to use this creatively like a Money in the Bank.
Could be obviously, like with the Money in the Bank, it can lead to exciting television, but sometimes it can be a crutch. It's an interesting one, you know. But Hangman, big fan of Hangman. If Hangman is in the Gauntlet, he's in the Gauntlet. I think if it does come with a title shot, you have to say he's the favorite. You know, we'll get into that as we go through the prediction show. But him holding that as a storytelling device with Swerve, obviously will still be in the title picture even if Bryan does win as expected. It's interesting. I'd be interested to see what direction they go with it all and how it all unfolds and plays out. Matt Hennessy, €2 putting on again. Appreciate you. What have you heard about Ricky Starks? Any update?
I mean, I've heard many things about Ricky Starks. The problem with Ricky Starks and Ricky Starks based reporting is you hear one thing about Ricky Starks from one guy, and then the thing you hear from the next guy doesn't line up at all. A lot of Ricky Starks information is very, very contradictory, and it's why I don't engage in reporting on him because it's a fool's errand. People close to him will tell you that if it didn't come from him or his management team, don't take it too super seriously. A couple things that have been consistent that I've lined up. I don't know how much I can say about it, but what I can say is Ricky, up until at least early this year, he still was very much committed to working in AEW and wanted to be in AEW. And there were rumors that he turned down creative and that soured things. The reality is he didn't want to work. He didn't want to do a tag team with Big Bill, and Big Bill wasn't crazy about it either, but they made it work and they did it, and they liked their time together, even though both guys saw long-term that they were not going to be together. Some of the issues that came from him were the fact that there was a dispute about the injury. He thought he was like, I'm not hurt at all. And they were like, no, you're not cleared in this and that. He went to Dynamite in Jacksonville for a physical. He was flown out for it. Everything was totally fine. And he wasn't given any creative direction on that night. And he was waiting for, he expected to get some type of word as to what's going to be next for him. Creatively, and he didn't get that. And in terms of where things stand right now, I mean, again, there's so much conflicting information about Ricky Starks. I want everybody to take this with I want everybody to consider the fact that, like, what I'm about to tell you is just what people have told me, but this does not mean it's absolutely the definite like situation. But the things that seem to be overlapping is that he is frustrated with the fact that he hadn't been given a direction. AEW is of the belief that he does not want to stay anymore. And apparently he is seemingly waiting his deal out. That's what people think. People think he is sitting out and waiting for the deal to expire. The thing is, though, nobody can agree as to when the deal is expiring. Some people will tell you it's at the end of this year. Some people will tell you that he has a whole extra year on his deal. There's people, I mean, Jason Solomon himself said that he heard it expired in July. I couldn't get a straight answer on this. So I said, fuck it. I threw my hands up and said, fuck it. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. But the bottom line is Ricky Starks is at home. He's healthy. He does not have any creative long-term plans in AEW. AEW have no long-term plans for him at this juncture. And that's the situation. He's at home.
Jordan Spurs, $5. Hangman and Braun are both great in that we get to see Swerve wrestle both in hot feuds. I I think that's meant to say, and the fact we get to see Swerve wrestle both in hot feuds is good for booking. Controversial opinion, I know. I don't think it's that controversial. You know, some people do pick the sides because it's just, I don't know, it's just fun to be hashtag we want Hangman and stuff. But I don't think those same people are going to be like disappointed in a match with Bryan Danielson. I don't know, man. But yeah, it's good shit, man. It's two really good, great matches that Swerve can have. I'm sure he's going to have with Bryan. He's already had some with Hangman, and yeah, man, it's good. It's good momentum, good hype for him, and he's running with the ball, isn't he, Bill?
Who, Swerve?
Swerve, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a great year for him. He's ascended past the point he was at last year, and I thought last year was going to be his ceiling, which was like, oh, he's officially like a main event player, but now he's like the guy. So, yeah, he's main eventing Wembley Stadium, and he's probably going to main event All Out in Chicago.
And Jean-Pierre, $2, appreciate you. Triple Fear. Please bring Paige home to WWF. I think we said on Monday. I think she's going to be staying. You know,
I think so, but who knows?
Sorry, people. Yeah, she's got it's an option year as well that she's got on a contract apparently, according to the report. So it's just kind of like, you know, but we'll see. KO 50 pesos, appreciate you. Super chat pressuring Ibu for a Wrestle Purist draft show at the request of Monty. Next super chat agenda is asking for a Fantasy Evolution 2 card with Marigold TNA.
What the
so
fuck?
Like the Wrestle Purist draft.
Can I get some? Like, can I rest, please? Like, I give you guys 2 or 3 shows a week. Like what the fuck? You know, like Jesus Christ.
You should. It's a privilege, isn't it? Yeah, you know, there's so many people out there that can't get 10 views, bro. You know, can't get 10 concurrent views. They can't do anything in the space, and here you are, no camera, no real setup. You know, real just rolling out of bed, walking around the kitchen, eating snacks, talking graps, and the people are here for you. But you know,
I do appreciate that. I appreciate the love and the support. But my God, I got work in like 2 hours too. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm still working on the draft. I do want to do the big draft episode with everyone and see what we come out with, because that could be like tremendous. You know, that could be all time, man. Right, the final boss 199. Appreciate you. Any update on the Rock's return? Bit impatient right now.
Again, I told you guys already. He's expected in Survivor Series season.
Maz 184, 199. Monty, you will regret not going if Bryan retires. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess. But yeah, Bryan. Like, I think I might have said it already on like Monday as well. Like, Bryan is definitely like the big pro that is outweighing all the cons in terms of my decision making at the moment, even though I'm undecided. So we'll see how it goes. Amdrag 100 rupees, appreciate you as always. Dragon is just lazy, bro. He only said I'm the best fucking wrestler in the world, and I was ready to go through walls. That might be best delivery of best in the world. I mean, when Bryan says he's the best in the world, I think it just kind of hits different, you know, because obviously a lot of wrestlers say, like, even just looking at it now, it's like obviously Punk, MJF says it. And other wrestlers say, you know, but like when Bryan says I'm the best wrestler in the world, like I just think it hits differently, though, you know. It's just,
well, it's because it's the truth, and when people say true things in promos with conviction, it's like, oh yeah, because he doesn't say it all every 2 seconds. He doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
He just is. And here he's like, you know, I am the best fucking wrestler in the world, and it's like, oh hell yeah, you know. It's like when Michael Jordan says he's the GOAT, which he doesn't really say a lot either. He doesn't really say. If you notice, Michael Jordan isn't going around like I'm the greatest basketball player of all time, but he knows he is, and occasionally will say it.
Bam, $2, appreciate it as always. Why are the Lucha Bros still on posters for September show?
I don't know. John Moxley's on posters like for all these TVs that he's not at.
Yeah, it's like it's up recently, bro. Like Roman Reigns, obviously now he's back in the fold and stuff. Like he appeared on like a few like flyers for like events and future SmackDowns and stuff over the past like couple of weeks. And you know, like the aggregators, and understandably, like they'll aggregate them and be like Roman's planned for this show, and it's just like until I see it like actually like graphic announced or the venue properly announce it, I don't take too much notice of like who's on the flyer for those like those promotional pieces, because it's whatever, anything could change. It's like Roman's now not on one of the shows that he appeared on one of the flyers for, and obviously the aggregators had to report that, and it's just like just wait until they're actually announced, and obviously AEW, it's harder to do that because they don't announce shows like loads of time in advance in terms of like what talent's going to be on the card. So but yeah, I won't take too much notice of it, to be honest, brother. But September's not even that far away. Like, I'm not even, like, Ray Phoenix, obviously, he could still be under contract by then. So, we'll see. And I'm not even sure if Penta's deal's fully up. Like, he does claim that he's present, he's AEW. So, and September is literally, like, a week away, So, CM, $2, appreciate it. Hater return at All In, or what's the move there? We'll talk about that at the end of the predictions and stuff, because that's like a whole, that's a whole meal,
Is it
that conversation?
Is it? Because I was ready to
I really like Hater, man. I did want to, but
God.
if you want to dive into it right now, we can.
I was just gonna say, there's a decent chance she shows up in an angle. Like that's all I had to say about it. There's a decent chance.
Yeah, we'll just keep it moving,
Yeah.
Danny, $2. Any talks on Becky Lynch in AEW, or is she staying?
AEW doesn't take her seriously. They don't take her desire to actually leave WWE seriously. They love her. They think she's an amazing talent. Tony Khan, in particular, thinks Becky Lynch is the greatest women's wrestler in American wrestling history. And so with that thinking, you would think that they would pursue her hard. And obviously they're open to doing it, but they feel like she's just kind of feigning interest in order to field a larger deal from WWE. And because that is their belief, this is almost like a Mexican standoff. And they don't want to like put a bunch of resources into acquiring her services in a way that makes them lose out on other wrestlers, because that's what happened with Drew McIntyre. With Drew McIntyre, it was a situation where they kind of bought in the games he was playing, and they were like, all right, let's put in all this into getting Drew McIntyre. And they feel that that's what lost them wrestlers like Finn Balor and Chad Gable. So they don't want to make the same mistake with Becky Lynch.
Yeah, it's a lot of resources to use on someone that may not be coming in or even serious, like you said. So, Matt Hennessy, €2.49. WWE and AEW fans not wanting Saraya is funny. I mean, it's very spiteful, A little Saraya NXT run would probably pop me,
My man Kai Park said that quote is for sure getting aggregated. I prefer not. I'm too tired today. I'm so fucking tired. Like, everybody just leave me alone,
1 second. Not already. Sending a message. Trust the process, 34,499. Jay White update question mark. Thought he was cleared. Also, what is Okada booking at All In?
Okay, you know what? I'll break some news.
Is it a spoiler?
As of a week ago, spoiler alert. Man, I'm on fire today. Spoiler, we need a graphic with the dun 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 dun. Spoiler alert.
I'm gonna work on one.
Kazuchika Okada, as of a week ago, was expected to be in the Casino Gauntlet match.
There you have it, folks. And as for Jay White, yeah, like him being reported as cleared, was what, a week ago or something. Like, just because someone gets reported as cleared doesn't mean that they're showing up immediately. You can maybe
you know
show
what?
up.
You know what I can't tell you, Monty.
Yeah.
Creative plans have been made for Jay White. The next Bang Bang Gang feud expected to be a stable on stable feud, and there's an imminent feud with the Bang Bang Gang versus another stable, and they will be the baby faces.
Slim Reaper 199. Percentage you put on Max returning to WWE within the next 3 years? 5%.
20.
Fair enough. Still not high though, is it? Kale, 20 pesos, appreciate it. Until you're 90, Ibu. Until you're 90.
That's the reference from Deadpool and Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman, they'll never let this guy stop playing Wolverine. They're going to use him forever. And at the end, Deadpool was just like, until you're 90. Until you're 90.
Yes.
Hopefully not. Let me retire, bro. Let me get out of this shit. You know? I started Dynamite yesterday, and like, and mind you, I like the show, but halfway through, I was like, I don't want to just watch Noah Destination 2004. Just an awesome show, headlined by Akiyama and Kobashi. You know,
Oh yeah.
the real shit. Misawa and Muto faced off on that show, Monty, opposite in a tag. The very first time Keiji Muto and Misawa faced each other. Tokyo Dome.
It used to be better.
It used to be better.
Black Yakuza 94 $5. Appreciate you. Realistically, what do you feel Ricochet seeing AEW is going to be? The Ospreay rub is going to be huge for him. Can he hang at the top?
I don't think he'll be like a permanent, like just main event fixture, like an MJF or a Swerve or a Hangman. He will be what many great wrestlers in AEW are, which is, remember, there's like 4 singles championships, right? He will be a guy that is in featured matches. He will be given the platform to have excellent professional wrestling matches. He will have these matches on a regular basis on television, and he will be plugged into title matches pretty often. You'll see him in international championship matches. Will Ospreay is going to be the international champion after Allin, I think, anyway. So, for all we know, they could do that in Chicago, Ospreay Ricochet. And so, yeah, that's going to be sick. I think I think for the second year in a row, Chicago's going to be better than London. But so my point is, you're going to see stuff like that. You're going to see him challenging guys like Okada. You're going to see him fight, cool matches on TV with people like Mordos or in tags and so on and so forth. For all they may throw him in different like multi-person tags where you can go insane. Perhaps you get a reunion with Matt Sydal. But the bottom line is, he will be a good match guy that is plugged in to title matches with some of the other title holders. And because it's the AEW audience, because Ricochet is so spectacular, he will kind of remain afloat in that upper scene doing stuff like that. Kind of like Pac.
Oh. Continental Classic Ricochet.
Oh, it's very possible. It's very
possible. It's very like with Ospreay, bro. So with certain people, when they come in, you just got to let them show out doing what they do. It's like, I think Ospreay's character work and promos has caught a lot of people by surprise, because that was the thing people were kind of concerned about with him coming to America and doing, American TV, AEW, Dynamite, etc., moving from the Japan scene, But he's even kind of excelled over people's expectations in that. But kind of the core of what made Ospreay such a big hit coming in from the gate was he's just so good in the ring, and they let him do his thing. You know what I think Ricochet is going to be, bro? He's going to be Claudio. Claudio's not necessarily an AEW main eventer if you really look at it, but what he is compared to his WWE self is like he's just unlocked. His skill set is unlocked, and I think the same will apply to Ricochet. So you're gonna be able to see him do his thing more often. I think Ricochet's got probably even higher. I'd say I'd be more optimistic about Ricochet than Claudio, even though the premise of what you're saying is correct. Because he will be completely unlocked. But the thing is, obviously, that Ricochet would have over a Claudio in terms of going forwards, and his ceiling is that Ricochet's younger, and I think Ricochet will be a lot more hungrier coming into AEW at this point of his career. So. I think Ricochet's going to have a chip on his shoulder, to be honest. I think he's going to be going absolutely fucking nuts for
those foreseeable future. Those first few matches, he might have that kind of demonic energy that Bryan Danielson had when he first came in.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like Bryan came in and it's like he made a point those first 2 months to be like, I'm a fucking godly wrestler.
It made me feel like his first 3 matches are like Ospreay, exactly. Beast Mortos, and fucking. I don't know.
He's gonna have some of his career best work in that first 2 months in AEW.
100%, I agree. All right, last super chat for now until we start the. Okay, we've got one more. Mid takes $4.99. Chance we see Kenny before Revolution next year. Also, Monty, what happened to Ibu turning his cam on?
What is with you?
Put your foot now. Now, you know what it is, bro? You can, if I would make Ibu put his camera on, I can nag him and make him do it, but it completely ruins his back, bro. like because he don't have like a proper setup, so he has to like sit on the couch and lean over to his laptop, sort of thing. So he's too old, bro. So we're gonna get him situated at some point, you know.
Monty, you know what it is? Monty has seen, you know how the wrestlers talk about how like I was seeing Kenny backstage with this guy and like how you could barely walk and da da da. Monty sees me backstage before and after the camera shows. I'm getting carried in the grill like, oh my god,
Ice pack.
Yeah.
But yeah.
On a camera show, I can only do about 2 hours before my back gives out. Pause. So,
jeez. Most on 84. Why not? You know, will Takeshita be in London or Chicago?
I don't know.
All right, let's do this. Let's do these predictions and preview them, and we ain't got too much time to.
Let's get right to it, Monty. They're doing Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow and Tomohiro Ishii. So here's the deal with Willow and Chris. The plan for the longest time was Willow and Chris in All Out because they wanted them to have their really big blow off serious match. And then maybe about a month ago, they said, why don't we actually move it to All In? But the problem is, if you move it to All In, they're not going to have the match that they wanted to have it All Out because of just time constraints and things of that nature. So they decided that, yes, we're going to keep that one in Chicago. So again, Statlander and Stokely, Willow and Ishii, this is going to be what you expect it to be, I think. They're going to have some fun action here. Stokely will, you know, he'll be there, and you might get a spot with him and Willow or something. But this is going to be a fine little pre-show match. I think the heels will win somehow, some way. Maybe they don't. Maybe they kind of they kind of open this up hot with the fans, and you know, with maybe Stokely eating like a power bomb from Willow or something like that. But I don't know. Either way, this is going to be a fine little match. Do you have anything to say about this one?
I think Stokely could be wrestler of the night. People are fired up to see him wrestle, man. It does kind of pop me because, like, normally when a manager gets thrown into a spotlight like this, it's like, all right, man, you know. Like, but with Stokely, it's like there's like a certain trust that you have in him to like actually be like funny with it and be entertaining with it, you know.
You know what
he's
it is?
Awesome, man.
He captures the energy of the 80s because in the 80s, when you put a manager in a match, it was like, oh, finally they get to get their hands on this little fucker, you know, and it was actually kind of like a novelty, and it was like exciting to see them in that setting because it was just funny and new. And the fact that Stoke is in that position tells you that he's doing a good job as a manager because that's the point of it. It's no different than in the 89 when like Paul E. Dangerously or Jim Cornette were put in matches, and it was like, oh, finally get those bastards in the ring. So, yeah. The winning team gets to pick the stipulation for All Out.
I'm gonna go with the heels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the heels. Stat and Stoke are winning this.
I think between this week and All Out, one of these shows, Willow Nightingale's gonna powerbomb Stokely through a table,
and we will be there.
Yeah,
we will be there.
Okay, main card.
Yes.
Let's go to.
Let's get Hook out the way, man. That poor kid in the Jericho vortex. You know?
Chris Jericho versus Hook in a last chance match of the FTW Championship. If Hook loses, he can never challenge for the FTW belt ever again as long as Jericho's champion. We know what this in-ring duo looks like. This will probably just be fine. Hook is going to win this match, and if it was up to me, I'd have Hook retire the FTW belt gracefully after winning because there's nothing left to do with that belt. So I think you win it here on top, main card. It's a great moment. You celebrate, you save the sanctity of your father's creation, and then you just kind of put it away for good, respectfully, and then you move on with your life and your career and try to progress to the next step. I don't have much expectations for this match as a wrestling match, but I do expect Hook to win. What do you think, Monty?
Yeah, I expect Hook to win as well, and I would prefer it if they do what you just kind of laid out there, where he has like a nice moment with his dad and he kind of retires the belt, gives it him back, sort of thing, you know. And I mean, hopefully, like, you know, the UK crowds are great, so I'm sure they'll carry a lot of this match as long as it don't go too long and it isn't too wink or anything like that. You know, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I don't think anyone's going to be talking much about it after the show, but it's on the show. It made it on the show somehow. Well, we know how Jericho's unfortunately got a bit of power back there, you know. But yeah, it's happening, you know. And I do think Hook's going to win. And yeah,
Let's
next
talk
match.
about Jack Perry versus Darby Allin. They're facing each other in a coffin match of the AEW TNT Championship. And I don't know why. I kind of do know why, but like for weeks, Monty, I was very bullish on this being like one of my most anticipated matches on the show. And the reason why it's kind of interesting that I feel this way is that I actually don't rate much of what Jack Perry is doing right now. I think he's actually like a pretty unfocused character, and he doesn't even wrestle much anyway. And I don't think he's had enough in-ring time to kind of figure out what the scapegoat's in-ring approach is, because he doesn't wrestle enough to really hone it, right? But with that said, I just feel like it's going to come together on the night, because all Darby needs is a heel with heat. And I think in a big stage like this, he's going to deliver, because Darby Allin's an amazing wrestler. He's a great TV wrestler, but he also delivers in the big stage too. I mean, remember that fucking match with Christian at Wrestle Dream, for example, right? So if Jack Perry takes a psychological heel approach, that's really all you need, because Darby's going to bump his ass off. They're going to do some really ambitious things. And it's a coffin match. And every Darby Allin coffin match is fantastic. If you guys are doubting me, Fyter Fest 2021, he faced Ethan Page, who is very much an average professional wrestler. And he had a coffin match with him, and that match was fucking phenomenal. So, do I think this match at Wembley is going to be great? Yes, I do. I think this match with Jack Perry is going to be excellent. And I think he puts Jack Perry in the coffin, and he closes that fucking coffin. Actually, fuck, I don't know, because Darby's getting the world title shot at Queens, New York.
Decisions,
Yeah. So does this mean that Darby's gonna try to go for a double championship here, or is he just gonna lose this and then challenge Bryan? I don't know. Either way, I don't think he beats Bryan if Bryan's the champion at that point. But what if Swerve's the champion at that point? This is tough. All right, now I don't know who's going to win, but I think the match is going to be great.
You said Darby now, brother. It's a prediction show.
Has Darby lost a coffin match? I don't think he has, right?
Darby, I don't think he has lost a coffin match, no.
He's the Undertaker of coffin matches.
I think, but I do think Darby loses this, unfortunately. Jack Perry retained, and I think Darby's going to get like fucked over, like in some way. I don't think Jack Perry's just going to like beat him, drop him in the coffin, and he's the best heel in the world. Like, no, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. But I think they'll have a pretty good match as well. To be honest, I do have kind of like issues with Jack Perry as a heel worker, because the thing is that really frustrates me with Jack Perry is that I was into him as a babyface worker. I think he's really good. I think you can buy into him as a babyface worker like very easily. Just kind of I think it's what he should naturally be. But as a heel, it's like even when it was like last year up until now that he's a scapegoat, full-fledged scapegoat with the Elite and stuff, it's just there's just no conviction, you know. I don't see any. I just need something to buy, and I'm just not getting it with a heel Jack Perry at this point. But that being said, he's a good professional wrestler. There's gonna be plunder. Darby Allin's involved, so I do think this match will be very good. You know, so I've got Jack Perry winning.
The biggest tell that Jack Perry may retain is that he hasn't really had a bunch of. I don't think he hasn't had any title defenses for the TNT Championship, unless I'm forgetting one or two. He's not defending the belt. And when in AEW do they do that thing of a guy wins it, he's just kind of holding it and then loses it in like his first major defense. So they might do that, and they could give Jack that rub of like, I'm the first guy to beat Darby in a coffin match. He puts him in it. He does that Raven pose with his arms out and shit. He's rolling his eyes up like he's fucking having like a euphoric trance and shit. And he's just kind of like, he is my sacrifice. Darby Allin has been sacrificed by the scapegoat. You know, so come as you are.
Bro, it's just I get why he's a heel and stuff, and I get that it's probably a thing that he wanted to do, and you know, it's like Darby did that interview not long ago about like, you know, Jack's just a bit of a dick, you know, and being a heel and stuff, it just kind of suits him more, like, you know. But obviously, he probably was working a little bit with that, but you know, it's not exactly a sentiment that's uncommon to hear. So, you know, like I said, I kind of get why he's a heel, but it's just kind of like some people who full on hate on Jack Perry, like like I'm sure you've seen it, but like Jack Perry does have his haters and stuff. Hence, like where fucking his whole character arc
The
has come from.
conversation surrounding him is so severe, in my opinion, because people
Yeah,
either
it's
act
not
like
that.
he's
It's not that deep.
people,
Like,
yeah, people act like he's either like dog shit or like incredible, and he's neither thing. Jack
yeah,
Perry is not. He's not great. Like right now, scapegoat Jack Perry is not great. He like whatever, however you define greatness. Think about other great wrestlers in the planet, and then tell me if you actually sincerely think Jack Perry right now in this form as a performer is on that level. I think there's a lot of pieces with promise, but he hasn't fully put it together yet. And then the other side of the coin, people act like he's like the shits. It's like, no, he's not. He's not the shits. He's not like bad. Like he's totally fine. He's totally fucking fine. I wish they could have fledged out this character more, like when he came back to AEW TV, instead of just kind of being like the Bucks' stooge. But yeah, like the conversation around him is so severe, and I'm into this matchup. I actually like the Pillars have good chemistry with each other in general, and Darby Allin, like I said, he's awesome. You know what I mean? He's very reliable. I think this will be one of the best matches on the show, personally.
yeah, I think it could be very good. But
Yep.
yeah, man. What we got next?
Yeah. So a match that I have no clue how good it's gonna be, and it's almost kind of funny to predict it, is the TBS Championship match.
Oh
Mercedes
shit, heavy hitter.
Mone, the CEO, versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Mercedes won this championship back at Double or Nothing when she beat Willow Nightingale. She had another high-profile match with Stephanie Vaquer at Forbidden Door, and she's now defending the championship against Britt Baker, who was pretty much the first women's star in AEW. And so they've had a feud about, like who really runs this place and who, like, who's the top girl and stuff and who's the baddest bitch on the block and, all that type of stuff. But yeah, man, it's time. These are two within the scope of AEW. These are two stars and they're facing off. And Mercedes Moné is great. And historically, she delivers in big matches and big settings. She has also historically shown the ability to carry lesser wrestlers to great work. We have seen this with people like Carmella, for example. And so the question now is, can Britt Baker be good enough to rise to the occasion with Mercedes Moné and have a great match here? And I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like this match could be like, it's going to be heated because these two are over. The question is, will this match be like great? Will it overachieve on the night? Will everything just kind of come together and it's great? Or will it just kind of be like a bit of a mess? Because it could be a bit of a mess, but it also could be great. I don't know. I'm going to err on the side of optimism and say it'll be pretty good. How much further than pretty good it climbs, I don't know, because I don't believe that much in Britt Baker as a worker. But I think the crowd will be with them. And if Mercedes can just do what she needs to do and this doesn't go too long, I think there'll be enough drama late in the match with maybe some of the submissions like the bank statement and the one that Britt does. And I think they'll have a good match. What do you think about this one, Monty? Oh, by the way, and I think Mercedes wins, of course.
Yeah, I've got Mercedes as well. Yeah, definitely Mercedes in this one. I'd be stunned if DMD walks out of this with the TBS title. I don't know, man. As you already know, I kind of tend to lean on the give Britt Baker the benefit of the doubt when it comes to work in the big matches because, like, she's just game, bro. Like, she's gonna bump all over the place and she's gonna play to the crowd. The crowd work's usually pretty good. So we'll see how she kind of feeds off the energy of the stadium. I think it'll be heated as well. Mercedes Moné is obviously Mercedes Moné is coming in with the reputation of arguably the greatest women's wrestler of all time, but I think we are still yet to see her go like full demon mode in AEW in terms of her performance level. So she's been good, and I'm not one of them people who's going to be like, oh, she's under-delivered and AEW must be upset with the signing. Like, no, she's awesome. I love Mercedes, and she's been good. But in terms of her having like, like you mentioned, Libby, when you were talking about the match, like Mercedes is a known big match, high level performer. The Willow match was very good. The Shida match was pretty decent the other week, but in terms of her going like full, oh my god, this is one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet right now mode. But we know Mercedes can get to, so we'll see if she can kind of reach that height and carry Britt Baker, because I'm sure that's what a lot of people would call it if it got to that point. Yeah, you'll have a lot of heat. Stadium Mercedes. Britt Baker's going to be game as fuck. She's probably going to have a chip on her shoulder as well. I don't think she's looked terrible thus far since her return. So, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be the optimist and say I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah. I'd like to think so as well. Okay, the next match that we're going to talk about, Monty, is the 4-way London ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship. This was originally going to be a triple. Actually, this was going to be the Death Triangle versus the Patriarchy, which would have been fun. And then the Lucha Brothers decided they're going to WWE. So then they said, okay, we'll just throw 3 teams in a trios match. And then they said, fuck, we're already doing a 3-way with the tag belts. So let's put a ladder here and add a 3rd trio. So this is now a 12-person ladder match for the Trios Championship. God bless. It's going to be the Patriarchy. It's going to be the Bang Bang Gang. This is Juice Robinson, Austin, and Colton Gunn. It's going to be the House of Black, Malachi Black, Birdie King, and Buddy Matthews. And if you don't want spoilers, cover your ears for the next 6 seconds. The last team is Pac and Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. There was speculation as to who this last team was going to be. I asked last week, Monty, who the team was, and I was told by AEW it's a team that doesn't exist right now. It's a team that does not exist, and we see what it was. The team that didn't exist was Pac and the BCC. How that's going to make sense and what that's going to lead to story-wise, I'm not particularly sure. Maybe, Monty, maybe they do Pac and Brian for the title after All In. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But what I will say is this. I think Pac and the BCC are going to win. The reason why is because the original plan for this show was to give Pac a moment in Wembley. They wanted Death Triangle to win the trios belts and beat the Patriarchy so that Pac could get that big celebratory moment in London. And the fact that, oh my God, I just realized we were talking about Ospreay and Ricochet earlier for Chicago. It's not going to happen because Ospreay's facing Pac probably. Anyway, but yeah, the point is they wanted to give Pac a moment in London. So I think they just threw this team together to just give him guys to work alongside so he could still have that moment. So I'm going to predict the BCC and Pac win here. And then maybe you get weeks of TV based on like, oh, is Pac in the team? What's going on here? Or whatever the fuck. As for a match, you guys know my stance on ladder matches. And I think everybody here is going to work their asses off just to kind of have their memorable moment at Wembley Stadium. Hopefully it's not too much of a mess. When ladder matches pass 8 people, it's a bit of a mess. I don't know what Christian Cage is supposed to do here because his strengths are not, jumping off things at this stage of the game. It's more like psychology. But nevertheless, everybody's going to work hard here. Let's see how it turns out. I do expect Pac and the BCC to win. What do you got, Monty?
I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this. I could see an argument for any of them, like genuinely. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the Bang Bang Gang for some reason. I'm not explaining it. I think they're going to win this match. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. In terms of like the match itself, it's like, bro, ladder matches, 12 people involved. It's going to be chaotic, man, And when stuff is chaotic, it can go one of 2 ways, It can either be awful and people get hurt, although it will have some high spots that people will pop for, or it can be very carefully put together in a way where everyone gets the shine that they need to, and it's very productive, and it's just kind of like an awesome bolt of adrenaline in the middle of the show, So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm going with the Bang Bang Gang. I'm obviously very unsure, but I'm going with the Bang Bang Gang.
All right. Let's talk about Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May. Heavily built to. This story has been going on since January. They had been putting this one together since the moment Mariah May made her first appearance as, the understudy of Toni Storm. And immediately we knew this was all about Eve and that Mariah May was going to usurp Toni Storm. And it finally came to fruition exactly how it looked to be. And Mariah May looks to be facing Toni Storm tonight at Wembley. And it's interesting because I feel like Mariah is going to win. A lot of the angles would suggest that Toni has to retain because she's just getting her ass kicked a lot of the time. But I do think Mariah should win because if you're going to go all the way with this year-long storyline to get this new woman star over that you pegged as a star, then you got to see it through to the finish line and finish it off. So because of that, and just because of those like fundamental rules of booking, I'm going to pick Mariah May to win this. I think this is going to be a bloodbath. I think of all the matches on the show, I think this and probably the Darby match will have blood. I think this will have blood. I think they'll try to have a really striking match from that standpoint with this. Even though there's no stipulation to this, I think we're going to get blood. And I think from that standpoint, it'll be very memorable and gritty. And I think Mariah May wins in what'll probably be one of the better women's matches AEW has ever put on.
Yeah, man. I think they'll have a very memorable match. You know, I'm not sure if it's going to be like a 5-star classic or anything, but I think I think they're going to bleed. It's going to be heated, and it's going to feel like a genuine like crowning when Mariah May wins the belt. Obviously that's my prediction as well. I think Mariah May is going to win. I think she's actually like the second biggest lock on the entire card, in my opinion. Not going off the odds, but yeah, Mariah May going to win this one, I think. And yeah, Toni Storm, a very what an interesting but great reign she's had as AEW Women's Champion. Because at the start, it was kind of like, all right, man, like, with how much stick and stuff she was doing, but she really kind of found the right balance in terms of like her in-ring work and character work, and then obviously the Mariah May, of course, long-time storytelling and all the seeds that were planted there that are all blossoming now. And obviously, like, one thing I think we don't kind of talk about enough as when we talk about people's championship reigns is like when they drop the belt, how meaningful it is. Like, this will mean something on Sunday. So, yeah, she's had a really, really strong reign, I think. And yeah, Mariah May. Let's see what comes next from Mariah May, because the then what in AEW has been a problem over the years. So of course, she's came into AEW with this very strategically planned out feud with Toni Storm, and I'm pretty sure it's all gone to plan so far. And this Sunday was always meant to happen with Mariah May winning the belt. And it's like, then what? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you develop a character on from that? Who does she feud with? How much focus do they put onto it, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, I'm just interested for what happens after.
Absolutely. All right, we are left with 3 matches, if my count is correct. And let me just double check.
4.
Wait, let me just make sure, because I have a strategic order on how I'm going to do the last 2. But let me 1, 2.
I'll put them in the chat.
3, 4. Yeah, you're right. You're correct. Okay, all right. So let's get the tag match out of the way. Tag titles.
I think it'll be good, man.
It is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm just saying, like, the tag title match is gonna be the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed versus FTR, and needless to say, this one has come under a lot of scrutiny when it comes to the build for this. The Acclaimed have been feuding with the Young Bucks since like coming out of Double or Nothing. And when it started, people were like, all right, well, this is going to end in like a few weeks. It's going to be a short little TV thing. And it's gone all the way to Wembley, which is a surprise to some people. But the FTR kind of got roped in the middle of it. And last week we did 2
needed them, brother.
Yep. Last week we got 2 big tag matches that ended in non-finishes. And we're getting a 3-way. We'll see what happens here. I know that as of last week, AEW didn't decide who was winning this match. That's your news tidbit. They didn't know as of last week who's going over. They weren't sure. Yes. And many parties involved were pleading their case as to why they're the right one to win the match.
Beast.
We'll see who Tony chooses.
Beast.
We'll see who Tony chooses. You know what I did notice yesterday, Monty?
Who's your pick, bro? Or would you get into it?
I think the Bucks retain.
Okay.
Did you peep Monty last night on Dynamite? Cardiff wasn't fucking with the Acclaim like that. When Max Caster was talking,
Bro,
there was
they're not that over anymore. Like, it's definitely calmed down, and it's just
it's
like
calmed down. But like usually the American crowds are polite and they like to at least sing along with the thing, you know. Like they do the yo and the listen, and they'll like pop for the like little lines and shit. Even if they're not hot, they like the fans wouldn't boo them. In Cardiff though, they came out and Max Caster's cutting the promo, and you could hear this trailing faint boo, just this woo, boo, and there was just like this kind of uncomfortable grumbling happening as they're talking. I was noticing this, and I'm like, yo, Cardiff isn't fucking with the Acclaimed, so that's something to take note of. But because if that goes back to the States, then they're cooked. They're like officially cooked. Because Twitter's been over them for a year. But if if the crowd stop caring about them, then it's over. Nevertheless, I think this match will be a good match because the FTR are going to work their butts off. Bowens is great, and I think the Bucks, even though they're not like the Bucks of 3 years ago, I'd like to believe they have enough professional pride to like bring out the best versions of themselves at Wembley Stadium. So it's one of those things where I think this is going to be one of those matches that's going to be like action packed. It'll be action packed, heavy on like just different sequences and stuff. And they'll probably try to ambitiously push this from being like good to very good, if not great. So if this was like a 4-star match, it wouldn't really surprise me at all because like these guys are capable of doing that if they work hard. So will they achieve that? Maybe. It wouldn't shock me at all. Even if this is not the match that everybody's been like dying to see. So that's what I think about the match itself, and I think the Young Bucks retain.
Yeah, I think the match will be pretty good, to be honest, because you got to think like it's very much a Young Bucks match, a triple threat tag match. No, they're gonna do the thing. They're gonna. I think they'll definitely be up to it. I think last night's performance was definitely a massive improvement on what they did. I think like 2 weeks ago when I kind of crashed out on the Dynamite stream about the Young Bucks' performances. But yeah, last night was good. I think they'll definitely rise to the occasion this Sunday, and we all know what the Young Bucks are capable of. You know, we've even seen it just as early as a few months ago. You know, they've had spectacular matches this year, even though overall this year they haven't really came across super motivated for large chunks. You know, but this is Wembley Stadium. This is all in tag titles. Professional pride, etc., etc. Some of the stuff that EB's already said. My prediction is FTR are going to walk out of Wembley with the tag titles because it's the right thing to do. Ibu is the right thing to do, and you know they're going to save this tag division.
I mean that'd be nice. I'd be happy.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
It'd be nice. I'd be very happy. FTR, at the end of the day, no matter what you want to say about them, they deeply care about tag team wrestling. They love AEW, and they show up to work every week. So it's like, what better team to put your belts on than a team like that are very dedicated to what they do, and they'll be working consistently against some of the teams that need to get over. So in this phase where you're trying to rebuild the tag division, like I understand that FTR is not like a sexy and exciting pick. They're really not. They're not. You've been there and done that with them twice, but they're still so high level with what they do, and they're so consistent that
strong, reliable central piece to a tag division that you can build a strong tag division around. You know, you heat someone up like a private party, they face FTR, and they might not win the first time, and then you cycle in the next. It might be Top Flight or some shit, you know, and you build these up by having great matches with the FTR and with each other, and then eventually one of them beats FTR. And
I agree.
You have your new, fresh, sexy tag team who haven't won the belts before with the belts then. But where the division is right now, I think it needs an FTR to just be there every week, wrestling all the time, and just helping build the division and the teams in the division.
Just imagine, Monty, that you do that, and then it's Wrestle Dream, and then they lose to Matt Sydal and Ricochet in a barn burner. You know,
I mean, man,
can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So they're a safe pick and honestly a very reliable pick. They're not the pick I would choose though. I think the Bucks are going to retain this match. The next match we're going to talk about, because I think the last two go hand in hand, Monty. I'm going to talk about the International Championship match, the belt that's currently the AEW American Championship. Maxwell Jacob Friedman donning the Americana, the red, white, and blue, walking into Wembley Stadium, the big, evil American man to face Will Ospreay, representing his people, walking into London. And I'll tell you what, their first match was very ambitious. There were parts of it that worked for me and parts that did not work for me. I think just inherently because they're not working to have a time limit draw this time, a 60-minute one. I anticipate this basically just being an edited down version of that. And if you edit down what they did in 60 to 28 in London, Wembley, that match is going to...
I don't think they need the 28, bro.
I think that's what it goes.
Match down. You can squash that match down to like 22. You know.
I don't think it's. Come on, bro. It's Max and Ospreay. That's not.
They've got 10 matches on the show. That's the thing, bro.
Yeah, they do, but like, come on.
I hear you though. I hear you. You're probably right.
Let's be realistic. You know what I mean?
I don't think giving them 22 minutes is still a long time. I don't think I'm being unrealistic.
Bro, you're talking about Will Ospreay and MJF in a stadium. Like, that's not what's going to happen. Like, it's just not what's going to happen. They're going to push to 30. And you know what? Seeing what they did in 60, the point I was getting at is the 28-minute edited down version of what we saw in Dynamite 250 in London, I think will be quite phenomenal, to be honest with you. So it's funny because I'm not like personally like so hyped and charged up for this match, but there's a very strong chance this is like the comfortable, safest bet to be the second best match of the show. So I think this will be tremendous. Will Ospreay is going to win this match. I'm like very, very, very certain he's going to win this match. And I think it's gonna rock. I asked AEW if Daniel Garcia is heading to London and if he will get involved in the finish. They claim he will not, but they could just be lying to me. So that's not a report. Yeah. That's just transparency. You know what I mean? Like, I asked, they said no, and I said okay. Again, they could just be completely lying to me. But what do you think about this matchup, Monty?
It's interesting because we've already had the 60-minute, not the 6-minute. I was going to say 60-minute time limit draw, but MJF beating him in 60 minutes. And obviously that match was very divisive for understandable reasons, and you could tell that they were working to go 60, like you already pointed out, and it was quite jarring, And I do agree with the sentiment of like if you take kind of like the highlights and kind of a lot of the ideas from that match and just shrink it down into something that's around 25-30, you get something a lot better, They're very capable guys. The crowd is going to be unbelievable, like it was for Ospreay last night. This could be the hottest match on the card, to be honest. This could be really special. It also could be it could also be like aggressively annoying. So it interests me a lot. I'm gonna side on the optimistic side again on this one and think that I think they're gonna hit it out the park and they'll have a good match and they'll have the match that a lot of us wanted them to have in the first place, before they decided to do that 60-minute thing. So, and my biggest lock of the night is Will Ospreay winning that belt. So that's my pick, and that's my general thoughts on the match.
Awesome. I just sent a very dramatic tweet out.
Oh God, can you read it so I don't have to put it up myself?
I posted the link to the review. And it said,
what else did you say? But
I wrote, let's talk about the Casino Gauntlet match.
Okay, let's talk about the Casino Gauntlet match, but what you got for us?
All right. You ready for some news, Monty?
I think.
Some news?
I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be. So.
There was a non-Ricochet surprise planned for the Casino Gauntlet match as of a few weeks ago. still appears to be on track. So if you guys want to start going crazy with the speculation, there was a non-Ricochet surprise planned for this Casino Gauntlet match. Beyond that, I ask you, Monty, do we know what names were publicly confirmed for this thing? Actually, the Wikipedia says Orange Cassidy.
Kyle Orange.
I got it right here.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry. Why does it say 16 to be announced? They're not going 16 deep with this shit. I don't think they are. What the fuck?
Just read the names, bro.
Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Hangman Page, Kyle O'Reilly. Let's announce a couple other people.
You said Okada already, so that's...
Okada will be in this match. Jeff Jarrett will be in this match. Let's scroll backwards. Sorry. I'm scrolling through the Ebu files.
He's literally on his DMs right now. He's
All
on
right.
a message right now.
All right. Roosh will be in this match. Jay White will be in this match. And a non-Ricochet surprise.
So is this where we speculate for a few seconds on who may be the surprise, Bill? There's people that say Shane McMahon, which is terrifying. There's no fucking way, man. Come on. Someone said Muhammad. Someone said Mustafa Ali. ZSJ. Bro, who could it actually be? Bobby Lashley. I mean, if Ricochet is reportedly potentially in London for All In, you would assume that would be a very easy spot to slot him in. So like Ricochet, but would you do Ricochet and Lashley? You know,
no,
I don't think I wouldn't personally, and I don't think they will either. I think it's still way too early for Adam Cole. Yeah, people in the live chat, by the way, like just because Ibu's named those people, that isn't the only people in the match. Like he's not saying that. Like it's that's just some of the names, isn't it? So Ibu, give me some guesses, man. I'm here I'm here struggling.
I know the answer, so I can't make a guess.
Oh.
I know who it is. I can't make the guess.
Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna struggle while you sit there silently.
Yeah. I can't.
What's the
I'm
chat
gonna pull the Dave
giving me?
Meltzer, you know.
Aku, Big Justice and the Rizzler, Moxley. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I don't know. Take it to Twitter or some shit. You know, put it in your group chats and try to figure it out. And hit me up with some suggestions that you think it really could be, because it feels like everything would just be a blind guess at this point.
Yep. I asked if Mystico was going to be in this match, and they said he could not. So
that's very sad.
Go. Yeah, no Mystico.
So yeah, the Casino Gauntlet then prediction for the winner, because I think I already said I'm going with Hangman. So
I think Hangman Page is winning this match.
Yeah. I really hope that we can like get Hangman like properly like centrally focused again, because I think he's been so good since he's came back as a character, and just kind of his vibe, and even his in-ring work, he's just been really, really good. So let's get some more focus on that coming out of this, and I'm sure that is the plan with the reported All Out match that he's going to be having with Swerve. So
do you think, Monty, we get
cracking
a end of the show cash-in?
Do I think we get an end of the show cash-in? No. No.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
No.
Okay.
But I think that there's a more than a non-zero chance that he.
You're not writing it. You don't think he is, but you're not writing it off.
No, I'm not even saying that. I don't think he is at all. But I think he might like run out to try. But I'd rather
Yeah,
not.
he could run out to try, which ends up costing Swerve and Brian
Right,
wins.
which I don't
Which
love.
sets up the all out match.
You're right. So here's the thing, that sets up All Out smoothly, but it dilutes Danielson's moment when, like, ideally you want that to just be two men wrestling and one guy was better than the other guy on the night. And I think if Danielson has to get a Busaiku knee because Swerve was looking outside the ring, I think that's very WWE and it's very bullshit. So,
Well, you know.
yeah, you know,
Can we even do that with AEW? Look, and I'm not even saying it as a bad thing now. And I know people will take it as a bad way, but trust me, believe me, people in the chat, I'm not trying to be a dick. But it's like, we say, oh, that's very WWE. It's like, bro, we say that about AEW every fucking little angle, whether it's a segment, whether it's fucking top flight being actual pilots, whatever it may be. Sometimes a little thing, sometimes a big thing, sometimes it's horrendous stuff, sometimes it's good stuff. It's just like AEW is very much in that zone as a company, where they do that shit, bro. It's like it's not
that finish for a stadium main event world title match is pushing it, I think.
Oh, of course, it's pushing it because of the setting.
Like that's a TV finish. That's even like a B pay-per-view main event stadium. Bryan Danielson's trying to prove he still got it, and then he gets to win the belt, but it's because Swerve was too worried about Hangman. It's pushing it, but maybe there's a way to execute.
Absolutely.
Maybe there's a way to execute it that's less hokey. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And you know what? We'll get right into it right now because we're talking about it anyway. The AEW World Heavyweight Championship match is going to be Bryan Danielson and Swerve Strickland. And I think that this match is probably just going to be a 5-star match because a lot of elements suggest so, to be completely honest with you. Big stage, big setting, emotions, drama, Bryan Danielson. That's all you really need. I think it's like one of those like safe bets to just be a 5-star match, even if it's not
that don't exist.
What do you mean?
There's no such thing as a safe bet for a 4-star match.
Yes, there is with Bryan Danielson in a big match. Yes, there is.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's a thing that's possible. And I don't think Bryan's the greatest ever. But
I'd put $1,000 that this is like a 5-star match.
A 5 by who though? Like an actual, like a 5 by us or a 5 by like Dave.
I think this is a guarantee to be a Wrestle Purist 4.5 plus. I think it's a guarantee to be a Dave 5. I think it'll be an Ibu 5. I think it'll be an Ibu 5.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, purely off like emotion, drama, and the setting. Because here's the thing, Swerve's very good. Their last match on TV when they were going head to head with NXT was like a 4 1/4, and that was just a TV match. But this means so much more, and it's the main event, and it's Wembley, and the stakes are so high, and Bryan's going to be there with his family to win the championship. I think my point is, I think this will be one of the best matches of the year. This will be the best match on the show, pretty comfortably, I think. And I think Bryan's going to do it, Monty.
Yep.
All that talk about talk about all this other shit. I think Bryan's going to do it. I think Bryan's going to win, and he's going to be the AEW champion. And how we then transition Swerve to Hangman Page, I'm not sure. How we transition Bryan into some other challengers, we shall see. What Bryan does it all out, I don't know. A lot of questions. But
but the Dragon's going to be involved, so the answers will be good answers,
Exactly. Do you have anything to add for this main event match, Monty?
Not too much to add per se. I think Bryan Danielson walks out with the belt as well. I agree with you on that. So that's my lock for my prediction there. As far as the match goes, I think it will be absolutely phenomenal. And me saying that I don't think anything can be a lock as a 5-star doesn't mean I don't think this is going to be probably a match of the year contender, and probably will be right up there. Because Bryan Danielson, bro, and you put him in a setting like this, and especially when you kind of like, even though we've had our issues with the story and like how they've gone about it and the approach Bryan has had, obviously there is weight with his career being on the line, so just that device in its own can be used very well. And we all know Bryan Danielson will do that. Also, the mode that Swerve Strickland is currently in is like, he's phenomenal, so it's like it really is like a special concoction that they've got here for this main event. I understand why people wanted Hangman to be in the main event and want that match the main event, but now that we're here, I'm not saying that they made the right choice in hindsight. I don't think you can necessarily like say that outright. I don't think there's any way you can really tell. But I'm still fired up to see Brian. The final countdown, title versus career. Brian Danielson versus Swerve Strickland. I think it will be phenomenal. And I'll be honest, bro, if it isn't phenomenal, I would actually be quite disappointed. Like, if it's just like, good, like a 4-star match.
Yeah,
like, I'd be like,
no, this needs to be incredible. This needs to be incredible.
Yeah, this needs to like move me, which
Yeah.
when Brian Danielson is tasked with that, he delivers 10 times out of 10, So and yeah, hopefully it is a really, really like just a heartwarming moment seeing him win the big one in Wembley, confetti, family, etc., etc. I'm fired up for it, man. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what Brian Danielson's reign is like we was just touched on when you just give it to me. Then there's a lot of questions of like, well, who is Brian going to face? How are they going to settle challenges for him? What's next? But it's like when Brian Danielson's got the belt, there's not necessarily like concern or worries about those questions, which is I don't know, man. I think that's kind of like a sign of what like a world champion level wrestler should be, and it's like you don't need everything perfectly laid out. Like, he's going to defend on this big pay-per-view against this guy, but whatever it is that they do, it's probably going to be good because he's that good, It's so yeah, I'm fired up, and yeah, Swerve. I think Swerve as well. He's had a great reign, much like well, not much like Tony at all, but like they both had great reigns, and they deserve the props,
Absolutely. I'm excited for this. What's funny? When I look at this All Out card personally, right? I think a lot of matches are going to be anywhere from about 3.5 to 4 stars. I think the matches that will climb above this and be like great will be Ospreay's match, will be Jack Perry's match, and then the Bryan Danielson match is the one that I think will threaten for match of the year candidate. I think that's the one that like at best will be a match of the year candidate. So if all things come into fruition the way I just predicted, this will be a great show. So hopefully it is. I'm very excited for it. I'm locked in. I will be watching. There may be a chance that I'm gonna have to clock into work right as the show is about to be over. Do you think the show ends in 4 hours, or do you think this goes past 4? If this goes,
it went past 4 last time.
It did.
I think, yeah.
Fuck.
I think it did last time. Fuck. Because the show finished the show started at 6 p.m. I believe, local time, and finished. It was gone 10 by the time it finished. I'm sure it was. So
shit. Because there's a chance right now. We'll see how things play out. But there's a chance I might have to go to work right as like Danielson and Swerve in the closing stretch, which would really suck. But
you can't. You just I got stuck in traffic. Even though you walked to work.
I got backstage heat right now. It's going to be tough.
I know.
We'll see.
American Dragon, bro.
It is Dragon. So we'll see. But nevertheless, let's close this thing out with some super chats and get out of here, Monty.
I was going to ask you a couple of prediction things, but it's like the only thing which you already mentioned was the Jamie Hayter thing. You think she'll be there?
Yeah.
I really do hope she'll be there. I am slightly concerned by like the lack of like rumors and stuff around it, but that is also can be a good thing because it means they've just kept it well under wraps, So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence on whether I actually think she will show up, but I'd absolutely love it if she does, because now that the AEW women's division is in this like kind of like growth era of like, the Tony Mariah story, Mercedes coming in, and now she's feuding with Britt, which is all like they've got 2 big time feuds going on. They've got some decent feuds going on in the mid card, like they've just done that Deanna versus Thunder Rosa thing as well, and there's other things that they've been doing as well. And it's kind of funny, man. It's not funny at all. It's actually the opposite. It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of like disappointing in the sense of like where Jamie Hayter was at the time she got injured. Like she was literally like such a amazing part of the division that felt like someone that was pushing the division forward, and then obviously that got stagnated by the time she's had to take off. It'd just been nice to see her like join in with this like new mix and new kind of this new and improved division, man. Because I do truly believe that the Jamie Hayter that went down injured was one of the best women's wrestlers in America and maybe even the world. So, I'd love to see her, man. I'd love to see her there because I think, I need to see her. I need to see that match with Mercedes. I need to see her do a thing, bro. I need to see her do a thing. I was going to ask you about Daniel Garcia, but you already kind of answered that in the super chat earlier. Casino, Gauntlet, you give the people way too much there.
I already had everything. I had everything covered.
Yeah. Ricochet, we touched on it all. All right, let's super chat to close this shit out. Dunno, 999. Appreciate it as always. Could you rank these three based on how much AEW entered their legacy? Entered their legacy.
I guess they're
enhance their legacy.
Probably. I'm guessing they're saying rank these people, including their AEW runs. I think.
Rank these three based on. Let's say it's enhanced. Let's go with that. Because the only thing that
AEW has helped the legacy of all three people. Let's just full stop, right? I think the thing is, Sting and Bryan Danielson pre-AEW were already all-time great wrestlers, all-time greatest of all-time level guys. I don't think Christian Cage was. I think Christian Cage was a guy that if you knew ball, you knew he was awesome. If you knew ball, you knew Christian Cage was that dude. But he was a guy that had great moments and had some nice portions of his career, but that was kind of it. I think his AEW run has now solidified him as one of the best wrestlers of his generation. So I think if anybody got their legacy enhanced the most by AEW, it was Christian Cage.
I'll agree with what you said, but the thing with Sting that's tipping me in Sting's favor is that, like, bro, legitimately, like, probably more than half of AEW's audience had, like, they knew who Sting was, they know he's a legend, they know WCW, Crow, blah, blah, blah. They know it all, you know? NWO feud, blah, blah, blah. They've heard it all, and they've seen a documentary or two, but they never got to see and feel for Sting, you know? Whereas this AEW run has, like, properly introduced him as to a whole generation of fans, you know, that wouldn't have got it otherwise. Whereas like Dragon and Christian, because obviously the gap is a lot smaller with them, it's a bit different because. So yeah, I'm leaning Sting on that one as my number one because, like I said, he's been introduced to a completely new generation of fans that have like a real appreciation for him outside of just like documentaries and shit now, you know. But all three of them have had great AEW runs. So, Yuzuru Hart, $10. I really think Darby Allin is the past. The TNT title at this. I really think Darby Allin is past the TNT title at this point. He might win it. He might win, and it wouldn't be bad. But it feels like spinning wheels for him. He needs to be elevated to a real main event guy.
I hear what you're saying. Simultaneously, though, it kind of makes you think of like how I remember back in the day, Monty RVD. He was the guy who would be like, the TV title is a world title because I'm holding it. Like that's just my belt. Like that's what I do with the belt. And the TV championship was just what he made of it, which was like, you know, the top prize. And Darby Allin, we've seen historically, he said things like, I don't even care about the AEW championship. I care about the TNT belt. That's my belt. So that could just be his belt. But at the same time, he's so good that, like, why not just let him be the guy with the top belt for a little bit? Depending on how they execute that, it might be a little hot potato-y. I know it's been considered, and it depends on how certain things shake out after Wrestle Dream, and that's all I'll give you there. But we'll see. We'll see what they end up choosing to do.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Wholeheartedly. Broadway Joe, $5. Appreciate it. 255 straight weeks for Dynamite outside in WrestleMania 36. Happy All-In week. Happy All-In week to you as well, Joe.
Bill?
One and only 199. Who's more useless, Tonga Loa or Brian Keith? Bro, Brian Keith's a good wrestler, man. He's just being used bad. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you got to say about that one.
Brian Keith's a good wrestler, man. Tonga Loa as well. It's just kind of like I kind of just feel for him at this point, you know. You can tell that he's in his own head when he has like a spot that he has to like do. Like even one of the recent ones where like he tried to run Cody into the corner and he missed the corner. Like that was crazy. Like That's just. Well, yeah, Brian Keith's good, bro. Do your research, you know. Mark Board, $5. Any surprises for the TBS title match? Jamie, the Renegades, or someone else? AEW on TV pulled a tweet saying Camille would not be ringside Sunday.
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
What's that, brother?
Brother, ugh. Can you imagine like Mercedes and Britt trying to put a match together and like it's starting to come together a little bit, and then the Renegades come in for like some sloppy run in and like ugh. It's possible. I think the Renegades are going to be a part of her stable. It's very possible. But can Mercedes just beat her? Like, do we need to fucking like?
Yeah, I'm with you.
It is possible. The more I think about it, like that's a very possible finish, but it's not one that I particularly want to see.
Yeah, I'm with you. Matt Hennessy, €59.99. Appreciate you massively, brother, as always. What are some returns or debuts in wrestling that didn't get leaked or reported by media? To me, Roderick Strong AEW debut and Johnny Gargano WWE return stand out to me as things I expected to happen but didn't get reported on. I think the biggest one in recent years is Edge at the Rumble. That legit wasn't reported on, bro. Like,
yeah, but like I saw it coming.
Yeah, but it wasn't reported on.
No, it wasn't reported.
It didn't get leaked. It wasn't reported on.
Yeah,
that was as real as the other ones that I mentioned in the chat. You know, CM Punk was not fully confirmed. Before, like, I'm just reading the chat now. CM Punk wasn't fully confirmed as like a report or he has signed, but like it was reported on that a lot going into that week. So, yeah, not really. I don't think Jay White's debut show was. I think Jay White's signing was leaked. I think it was. Yeah, I'm not seeing many suggestions in the chat. A couple of people said Jay White now, so I might be wrong. Jordan Grace in NXT was a huge shock for me.
That was out of nowhere.
I'm saying Edge though. I'm saying Shane back in 2016, deep cut.
That is a deep cut.
So yeah, obviously the Gargano one happened. I think 2 years ago today. I think I've seen the tweets about it. So
yeah, 2 years ago.
That was cool, man. That was cool. So
yeah,
and it's always cool when they can pull it off. You know, Ethan Page, someone said. But yeah, Mazfan 84 199. Brian bleeding in front of his family is cinema. Absolutely. Jumanji Hunter $2. Appreciate it as always. Would you put money on Athena being at Allin? She fucking better be.
Yeah, right. You know what I want? You know what I want AEW's assignment to be for Allin? Recreate the peaks of Athena's Ring of Honor run on the main AEW roster, and get them to where they need to be, to where Mercedes and Athena's a viable main event from that show. If you did that match right now, that would not be a main event, but it's their job to work on it being one by next year.
Just the process 34 199. Which match do you think opens the show?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
Would you go crazy and just go right to the Casino Gauntlet?
I think there's a chance Mercedes opens the show. You know.
Sure. Honestly, they could benefit from a hot opening crowd. Actually,
I think there's a chance Mercedes and Britt open the show.
If they open, the match could be great.
What else do I think? I'd say if the ladder match were in the middle of the show.
Yeah, ladder matches are good. As like you're tired, you're starting to run low on energy, and you need the chaos as like a pick me up.
Yeah, I think you know, I'm looking at it now. I think it should be Mercedes and Britt as well. I think it should be.
You know what would be a very AEW choice? MJF and Ospreay. That would be very AEW.
It would. I won't write it off. I would not write that one off. So yeah, Vinny May 199. Best case scenario for the Costco guys are all out. Get the Rizzler involved.
A cute skit during the pre-show. Hopefully not too crazy.
It depends what me. It's hard to say, isn't it? Because we don't know what the card is.
What, for the pre-show?
We don't know we don't really know much of what they're doing at all out. So it's hard to like place them in, isn't it? You know.
Oh wait, the
It's like,
Costco guys are in All Out. I thought they were in All In.
no, they're on all out. They're on all out.
Oh.
Well, reported like I think the quote was something like, we're in talks with doing a big show in Chicago. Like, it was pretty clear they were talking about all out basically. But yeah, man, the Costco guys all out potentially. Need the Rizzler as well.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Just do a backstage skit with them in the pre-show, bro.
Yeah, Stokely or some shit, So yeah, they are bringing the boom to Chicago allegedly. Rusho, $2 Canadian. Hanger stopped Swerve from hitting Brian with the belt.
Possible. Possible.
Black Yakuza 94, $5. Is Danielson going 2-0 over Swerve? Right. Given Ospreay beat Danielson earlier this year.
I don't know. I think look, man, all I can give you is my prediction, and I think Bryan Danielson's gonna do it. That's my prediction.
You're getting the fairy tale ending, brother. Slim Reaper, $1.99. Percentage you put on Tony announcing the Warner Brothers Discovery deal this weekend. I'm gonna give you
half, 50%. I'm gonna say 50%.
I'm gonna give you 33. So I'm giving you a third.
You know that thing they do where they announce the attendance? Tony might be like, we have 53,433 people in London. And they're like, yeah. And it's like, AEW will continue to live forever because for the next 5 years, we have renewed with WBD. And the crowd is like, yeah. We've renewed with Warner Brothers Discovery. I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think there's a slight possibility. I'm giving you a better chance than whatever the other thing we did percentage chances on earlier. All right.
That was Mox to WWE.
Yeah, that shit ain't happening, bro. More chance of seeing him in fucking Noah. Anyway. Actually, no, because that's WWE now, apparently, isn't it?
He'd have to go to All Japan or fucking more Japanese blood sport or some shit.
Mixing it up with Miyahara. Oh, man. All right, so we're done here. Done here. That was the AEW All In London 2024 preview and predictions. Ibu gave you way too many scoots that more scoots than you know what to do with. None of them were big breaking news ones, but it's like it's good for a little prediction.
A lot of tidbits. A lot of tidbits.
And that's good shit for a prediction show, I think. Preview show.
Yeah, you guys got a preview, you got predictions, and you learned a lot about what's going on this weekend. So hope you appreciate it. I did this and I gotta rush to work now. So yeah.
Okay, let me do the outro because I got a plug later. All right, AEW Dynamite review. We're still doing it later. Myself, Charlie, Marcus, of course, go home. Cardiff. Charlie was in Cardiff as well, so she's gonna give that kind of perspective and who the crowd was hot for and just kind of the questions you ask people when they go to a show. Obviously, she saw Collision as well, so we might even get into a few of the spoilers from that. And yeah, AEW Dynamite review later. Make sure you are tapped in 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Charlie, and Marcus. But this has been the all-in preview by myself and Ibu. Please like and subscribe on your way out. Leave a comment if you're watching this on catch up. And yeah, man, thanks for watching. And I'll see you again in a few hours. Peace.